Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining me for our Worship and Wonder story today. We are gathered here in our Worship and Wonder room, which, just like wherever you are, is a special place to be with God. And so we tell our stories here, we spend some time sometimes in prayer, we sing some songs, and we hear a story. So we start with a greeting, and so I want to say, may God's peace be with you all. And you can respond to that by saying, and also with you. And so today is the 17th Sunday after Pentecost. So I know you remember the red square at the bottom was Pentecost. It has been 17 weeks since then. So we are moving along. We are in the growing season, so we use green. Sometimes we call it ordinary time. I kind of like the growing season. And one of the things we do to get ready to hear one of our stories is we light our Christ candle. So you can use a battery operated candle, you can use a real candle if your parents let you, or you can just enjoy this one with me. And we light the Christ candle, whether we're up here or whether we're in the St. Andrew Sanctuary, to remind us that Christ is always with us when we gather together. Another thing that we do to get ready to hear our stories is we make sure that our bodies are comfortable and relaxed. Sometimes we take a couple of deep breaths, and then we sing Be Still and Know. So you can join me in singing that song if you want and doing the actions. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. So that song helps us get ready because those words are actually out of the Bible. And so we can imagine that those are God's words to us, to be still and know that God is with us. I have a desert box story today. And so many of our stories happen in the desert that we just have this piece of it here to help us tell the stories. And the desert can be a strange and wild place. The wind blows a lot, and it moves the sand around. And in the daytime, the sun is shining down and it is super hot. But if you're in the desert at nighttime, it also can get really cold. The desert is never the same because when the wind blows, it shapes and it molds the sand. There's also almost no water here. So today's story is about Jacob. And Jacob had a brother named Esau. And Jacob played a pretty big trick on Esau. And Esau was super angry. So Jacob's mother, her name was Rebecca. Rebecca said, maybe you should leave your home for a while and go stay with your Uncle Laban. She thought that maybe if Jacob was gone for a while and Esau didn't see him, that Esau would forget his anger. So Jacob agreed, and Jacob set off on kind of a long journey to where his Uncle Laban lived. So the first day, it was the end of the day, he was still in the desert, and he was tired. So basically he decided to sleep under the stars and walk more the next day, and he found a pillow. Well, he found a stone to use for a pillow. So he laid down and went to sleep. And while he was sleeping, he had a dream. And in his dream, there was a ladder. And this ladder started on the earth and went all the way up to heaven and back. And on the ladder, there were angels going up and down the ladder. And at the very top of the ladder, Jacob saw God. And God said, I am the God of your grandfather Abraham and of your father Isaac. And I am always with you. And he told Jacob that as a gift, he was going to give Jacob the land on which he was sleeping. This was a really big blessing for Jacob. And he said, no matter where you go, I will always be with you. So in the morning, Jacob woke up and he looked around and he knew that this was a sacred, holy place. And he knew that God was in this place. And he knew that God would always be with him. And so he took the stone that had been his pillow and he made an altar, a special place to pray to God. And he called this place Bethel, which means house of God. So what do you wonder about this story? I kind of wonder how many more days he was going to have to travel in the desert. I wonder how it felt to have a dream and hear God speaking to you in your dream. I wonder if he was worried about his brother Esau and if he felt bad about tricking him. And then I wonder how he felt when God gave him a great blessing. I wonder if you've ever had a dream where you thought God was speaking to you. And I wonder what that felt like for Jacob. I'm sure there's other things you wonder about too. Now I'm going to change our light. And we changed the light to remind us that the light of Christ that was in one place at one time is now in all places, at all times, wherever we go and whatever we do. Amen.